Welcome. My name is Sunjin, and this is Hug, Love, Heal channel, and I'm your host. Today, we will talk about from our second episode, which is the lost innocence. And actually, I tried to dress apart from the previous version, if that was more like the sense of reminiscing the what has been taken away, part that had been lost. So here I am. I'm dressed with this beautiful wedding sari that I wore. Typically, when you wear sari for wedding in India, I know it is either a very red or a second chakra color, which is like the color hue of the orange. And this is clearly the sun color, and it's representing the third chakra, which is the willpower, our own willpower center, third chakra energy color. So I thought that I would wear this for this particular occasion. After the last episode that I uploaded, which was about lost innocence, and that sense of great sadness, or I would call that a saturation of a sadness, where each of our cells almost feel like just soaked in, pickled in that sense of grief and sadness, so that it's always in underlying the foundation of what felt like. And clearly, while this is a channel for talking about love, discussing love from the viewpoints of a childhood survivor, survivor of a child abuse. In my case, an infant and child abuse. So from the perspective of those who had survived, basically, yet we are very deeply hurt. And no matter how much of the recovery process that we may have taken, I, of course, cannot speak for everyone, but certainly from my experiences, that I simply could not quite get rid of that deeply, really rooted sense of loss, sadness that I was entitled with the birth, that is. But since I didn't experience that, could I even say that it has been lost? So after the second video upload, I meditated on it for quite a while and thought about it, and suddenly this thought that appeared to me, that I don't want to be living or having my identity as sad, or that sad energy is defining who I am. So then somehow I thought about the treatment session that I do, my therapy session, and that is a lot of it is releasing the energetic blocks, or energy blocks that had gotten instilled in our body due to, mostly from trauma, of whatever the trauma that person may have experienced. But any case, I thought, why not I do that with me? Finally, somebody got smarter. So I thought, I will have to give this a try. I mean, after all, I had done many series of anger releases using this particular technique. And I thought, well, let me give it a try. And I tried. And of course, it was quite incredible with the end result, because by now I am actually not having that sensation of breaking down into tears any given moment, where that such a saturation that I feel like my body is a pickle, pickle of this sadness. But anyway, so I thought that upon releasing myself of that, I really wanted to share with you what I did and how I did it. And hopefully that you, the viewer, watching this, be able to perhaps let go of some of those as well. So connecting to that particular day when I was able to, I will try to not to read everything, but I will need a little bit of help with the script so I can remember, or I will not forget any significance that had led me to this feeling of, I don't want to say relief, but a new self in a way, because I don't feel like I'm carrying that saturated sense of wanting to break down and cry any given moment, you know? So anyway, here we go. Upon releasing this great sadness, what left me with is that my heart area felt like flutter, almost like, should I say, bees, butterflies, how they flutter their wings, as if, and that tickles my face, for example. So that would bring that burst of a giggle, laughter, and being tickled and itching feeling at the same time, which I thought was really fascinating, and no more of that drowning feeling of grief. And so that is very interesting to me. And almost like I know what innocence must be like or feel like. Since very early on, of course, because of my upbringing, I truly, that I could say that innocence, rather than being lost, I never had it. So I don't really know what that should feel like. But after having released it, that giggly feeling of that I could just burst into laughter any given time instead of a crying, if very little tiny bit of something hilarious when leaf flies by, that would make me giggle about it. So when I connected to this energy of what maybe innocent must be like, it made my heart space to be very broader. Almost the energy center is right here, but almost felt like it was going across my entire chest area. And it was more traveling down as I was using the breath, was going down through my third chakra, making that area to feel full and bringing a sense of joy. It's very unusual sensation, I should say, something that it just will not to be compared to anything that I had felt in the physical aspect. Usually, when there is an energy release, it feels like there something that was sitting had lifted up, but instead, what had lifted, it was replaced with this sense of joy, full with joy, which is very interesting. And then it was traveling up to my throat chakra, which is then the fifth chakra, where it's about vocalizing or expressing as to who we are. So again, I didn't feel any kind of heaviness or feels like being trapped, closed in feeling, but just felt like I could be an opera singer or something. So, any case, I feel really good today. And I had been feeling really good since that particular day last week. And tried to just sit with it, see if it really evolves into anything. I think it's more of upon releasing, I feel like who I was had been unveiled, if that makes sense. So the sense of who I am, or let's say this spirit being that's living in this body, is already or was already full with these wonderful sense, yet this physical body had to experience bunches of other emotions or experiences so that the spirit could have become unveiled in a way, and that was already there. So it's such an interesting sensation, I must say. Yet it feels like a blessing because I don't feel at all anymore grieving or sad or necessarily burst into tears in any given moment when someone on the TV would talk about you know their experiences with their whatever loved ones. So anyway, let's leave it at that. And typically what happens is during the session that I lead as in therapist in releasing, the body goes through, usually you want to we were releasing the energy of a trauma which had become an energy cyst that sort of lodged into our body, the muscular system, the fascial system, or even the organ system, and in our auras, etc. And when that lifts out, one experiences a lot of body shaking, a lot of tears. Some people will sweat profusely, will feel cold or hot. And sometimes people will just like going through incredible, disembodiment of sadness, grief, just comes out with the tears and just crying and all these things. But any case, of course, I'm not trying to scare you. These are not everybody's experience. Some people go through very quiet and calm, soothing ways of releasing those. So everyone's experiences are different. Anyway, for this particular release, it just felt excited when it was passing through. Sense of joy comes through, that almost my body was being excited. So, and it's not same as these energy, healing energy rain that I describe often in the session, that just that imagining the light as in this white light from the universe entering through our crown and just feels like raining, showering down onto into our body, every corners of the body, and just cleansing away. So anyway, let's talk about what follows. All right. I wrote whole bunches, and then of course I'm talking not quite matching, but that's all right. It is what it is. So I want to share what I did, and hopefully this visualization exercise that I will walk through with you, hopefully you will be able to benefit as well. So let's get it started. What we needed to do is actually, whether you sit or lay down, we want to be comfortable without any distractions for a while. Meaning, if you are in the middle of the day or going through with the family, children, who knows what, work, then of course these are not the times to do. But at nighttime, when you're trying to rest, so in a quiet space, or even a weekend where you can be for say a couple of hours without distraction, I suppose you could do this outside as well, somewhere if it's a nice day like it is today right now. Lying on the grass with your picnic blanket, whole bunch. So anyway, so let's do some breathing. So let's draw in our attention to our heart energy center, which is, we talked about it the first episode, the palm, very center of your palm, want to be in contact with, right in the middle of your chest bone, right about here. And in this case, I'm going to use the right hand over so that I can detect better for my heart, actual heart pumping. And then my your left hand, to my third energy chakra, to your third energy chakra, which is then about 2 inches above the belly button. So covering those two spaces. So both hands on your third and fourth energy center, okay? And close your eyes. If you are a shallow breather, chest breather, then you may take a few more breaths until you can notice that you're breathing deeper, and closing your eyes will help to focus what you're feeling. So with your eyes closed and both hands in your energy centers, continue your breath through your nose, in through your nose. Try to breathe deep as much as possible within the comfort zone, and then exhale through your nose as well. If you feel like you need to load out instead of carrying in, you may have to involve some sound. As the vibration creates this particular movement, it will initiate these energy centers better. And notice your breath. With your breath, feel your hands rising up and falling down. With the breath that go into the lower belly, your lower hand will move up and followed by your hand sitting on your heart energy center, so they don't rise together, but one following the other. Okay, now you are in the space of being quiet and be able to detect your own heart movement. The rhythm of the heart beating, you may also experience through your hands. Other subtle movement that occur within the body when you're quiet. You may feel the breath itself. You may even feel your own lymphatic movement. You may feel this body rising up and shrinking, rising up and shrinking, which is not necessarily coming from your breath. It's the cerebrospinal fluid movement. So then you're feeling this all kinds of various movements under your hands, and see if you can find right under your hands of the energy movement. It could feel like clocks of a tick-tocking movement, or to feel like pumping, or it could feel like clockwise, or say spiral movement. It could feel like anti-spiral movement, or say energy counterclockwise movement. See if you can come to feeling of those. And here, draw your attention to the heart energy center and see if you can connect to the sorrow, sadness that's sitting right there in the heart energy center. You may feel anger, fear, lack of love, or sadness coming from that lack of love. You may feel also other locations in your body that begin to surface while feeling these emotions. So just notice them. I would like to suggest that you set an alarm. Of course, this would be a beforehand if you are to practice this on your own thereafter this session today. Here, while being quiet and being in touch with your sense of sadness, sense of loss, grief, fear, anger that triggered you these sadnesses to happen, of all those, please use your imagination, a visualization in your heart that whatever that you're working with, here we're named the sadness, of course. See if you can come to see using your visualization as if a rock, hard boulder sitting on your chest in the form of a sadness, feeling heavy, and as if nothing would move this giant boulder of sadness sitting there. Using the power of your own imagination and feeling of this energy movement, imagine this rock somehow starting to become soft. You may use as if it's being simmered into softness, or a rain that has come and started to make it soft. Or someone coming in this case, you. Keep kneading the boulder, the rock, how thick and dense it may feel, while you keep kneading and moving with your hands, starts to turn into a softer, clay-like, or a dough that becomes very malleable under your hands. And now, the more you continue this process, almost starting to be fluid, turning into a liquid form. And at this point, whether with your hands but by way of using a tool, kitchen wooden spoon or something, you start to churn this soft liquid forms, churning and churning until feels like it is well mixed with the air. And this air is helping this liquid of sadness to turn into bubbles. It's like the seltzer soda water, where it has that effervescence. So this sorrow, sadness bubble is starting to lift up out of your heart. And to a point where you can start to feel these bubbles. You're feeling it all throughout your body and getting lighter and lighter. It's releasing. These bubbles are starting to release out of your pores. And became lighter than the air itself. This effervescence of the sadness lift up out of you through your pores and starting to lift up into the atmosphere. Some may pop as it goes. And some may reach all the way out to the space, out to the universe. You may name, if you like, with each bubble, what it is, or what was, or who may be that brought you into this saturated sadness. It could be your loved one, of course. Sometimes they are the worst. It could be your mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, aunt, siblings. Some may be friends, bullies, school, teachers. Could be anyone or any incidences. And as they lift up and pop or exiting out of the earth, out to the space, and being absorbed, reabsorbed into the universe, where anything and everything can exist at the same time. If you are at this point crying or in tears, or your body may be shaking, let you be. Breathe. Nice. Deep inhale. And full exhale. You may engage your sound. Breathe out heavily, like you're breathing a big breath, and exhale at the same time. Engage your throat chakra. You may feel lightheaded, in which case then you want to breathe back softly, comfortably, until your body comes down. Until your body is ready to release some more. After a while, your body may just have had enough for that particular time being, because our body will continue until it is not able to anymore in that particular time. Sometimes the time may be an issue, so that you may just have to come to a stop. As you are trying to return back to our reality of life, out of this release experience, draw your attention to the physical body and the presence. You may want to set an alarm before you begin, so you will be able to come back without too much time. You don't want to do this more than an hour. The body will be very tired afterwards, as it is with typically energy releasing sessions are. Bring your attention. You may open your eyes at this point, and you may need to regroup. Breathe. Continue to breathe until you are back to what feels like your body returned to the norm, and see how you feel. I can promise you one thing: your body would feel so much lighter than you began initially doing this exercise. So before you finish up of this particular, as you come to your own physical body and sense, again, connecting your heart energy center, feeling any sense of movement, circulation. Clockwise is the best, of course. And if you wait a while, if you detect any other movement than clockwise movement of the energy, then just wait a little. It will get there. And when you feel this connecting with your energy, give yourself that hug that you missed. Giving yourself the hug of love. And this love is truly a healing love that only you can give to yourself. And I'd like to hear from some of you if you had done this exercise, whether together or separately in your own quiet time, and see what it was like for you. I would like to suggest that if you had any good outcome or any outcome at all, I would like to suggest that you do this in some form of a regularity, because it will, the more you do this exercise, you're getting in touch with what kept here. As I had said, mostly pain, mostly pain, but could it be fear, and could it be anger in there? Some of you may feel joy, getting to a point where if you experience this release, you can see yourself in some ways of better light, that you may feel like there is maybe a little light shining down on you of a relief from what got you to this channel, right? So if you have any comments, I would love to read about it, and we'll continue on our work and see where it takes us. Hopefully this would be an initiation for many of you, being able to get in touch with your inner child's pain. And now that you are being the mother, father, well, okay, let's go with mother, because men all needed a mother to be coming out to this world. So whoever out there, I wish you lots of love from here, from my heart to yours. And someday we'll not feel any more of this, and feel so light that we can just doing, what do they call that? Hopping, skipping, which only could really truly happen when you are in that light place in your heart, where it is joyful and where it is fun. So whoever is out there, blessings. You're not alone. You're not alone. I am here for you, and there are many others out there like us who's just waiting to be together, being able to share, because that in itself is healing. Okay, so with that note, I will see you in the next episode. Hug yourself today.